Hi everyone and welcome back to On Coffee. I'm Vahe and today I'm speaking with Dr. Gabriela Villanueva, a pediatric hematologist-oncologist with a truly international journey. Born and trained in Argentina and continued her training in the US and now works at the renowned Hospital Garrahan in Buenos Aires, where she's leading researcher and doing research on retinoblastoma survivors and evaluate the long-term care. Gabriela, it's such a pleasure to have you. Welcome to On Coffee.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's a true pleasure to be here with you today.
So before we dive in, let's ask the simple and maybe most important question. How do you take your coffee, and is coffee part of your daily routine?
Coffee is an essential part of my life, I would say. So I have coffee every morning, and it's black coffee, which is a little bit of milk, no sugar and nothing else. But I could drink coffee all day long, but I'm trying to reduce that to only 1 cup a day. It's hard for me
Yeah,
to do that.
it's hard for everyone, I guess. So cheers.
Cheers.
So, Gabriela, your career path has taken you across countries and continents. What motivated you to move from Argentina to the US for training?
Well, that's it goes to a little bit to my personal life. I'm married to a man who was born in the US, and I met him while I was living in Argentina. So we had a long-term relationship for a while, but then we had to figure out a country to settle down together at some point. So we started in the US, and I moved there after I finished medical school. And once I stayed there, like residency and fellowship, we moved back to Argentina because I always wanted to work in my country and in Latin America, which is the region where I'm from. So now we're living in Argentina. Who knows where we'll be living in the next few years, but for now, that's what we're doing.
The things we do for love.
Right? Can you
Yeah.
tell him that?
So I wanted to ask, what was the most challenging part about transitioning? It's whole different cultures and countries. What was it
That was
like?
a huge change. Also because English is not my first language. So I studied English when I was a kid, but it's kind of never the same. Like you go to classes, learn to ask questions, you learn a lot of grammar, but it's very different when you have to actually have a conversation. So learning the language was a big barrier for me. I was lucky that I could live in the US for a year before I actually started my residency. So that gave me time to practice and to start feeling a little bit more comfortable. But language is still the barrier, right? Because communicating, even in Spanish, I would say, sometimes it's difficult to actually say what you want to say and the way you want to say it. Then there are a lot of cultural differences. Clearly, the US is a country with way more resources than Argentina or other countries, places that I've met or that I've been. That's something that I always comment to everyone who asks me about that. You can still see that there are differences in possibilities and access to care, even in the US. So it's not like Disneyland that everyone gets whatever they need whenever they need it. There are still a lot of challenges, and they're different. It's not that practice medicine is easier. It's just different. But I always wanted to go back to my home country and to help find ways and solutions to provide the care that my patients need, even if even if they're not born in a place with resources. Because I guess, that was my motivation. But I would say that when visually at first glance, it looks that it's very different. But once you dive into, even if you work in a place with a lot of resources or with lower resources, their challenges sometimes are very similar, though the way to solve them is different.
I'm so happy you talked about this. This is a very important topic, and you gave such an honest reflection. I think a lot of our listeners will relate, especially those who are considering to go abroad, especially in US for work. So it's important to know that
there's
yes.
always this feeling that outside is better than what is happening at home, right? We all, in some form, maybe have those feelings or that perception about the world. And in some ways, it might be true, and in others, it might not. It's just a lot having resources available or having working in institutions where the building or the infrastructure looks nice doesn't mean that that's available for everyone. And working in places where the infrastructure, like the place where you work or the resources that you have available sometimes or oftentimes are not consistent, or like you're lacking like essential things that you will consider is essential, doesn't mean that there's no room for improvement there. And there's nothing that is, it's not that because you work in a place where you don't have access to this medicine or access to this, to an MRI, whatever, doesn't mean that that is the way to be and it's always going to be that way. So I think you can be part of the solution.
Yeah, we have to be part of the solution.
Right.
Gabriela, mentorship seems to have been important in your journey. Can you tell us more about your mentors? Did you have any mentor who left an impact on your life that you will never forget?
I would say, because I think a lot about that, because I'm very lucky and I love my mentors. I was extremely lucky to have them in my life and in my career. Like starting as a fellow, I work closely with Susan Cohn. She's a neuroblastoma specialist, and she was always a very good mentor to me and to everyone actually who works there, like with a big work ethic and with a vision, like always like help us to think, well, okay, where do you want to go? What is your goal? What is skills that you need to get to achieve that goal? And it's a very approachable person. So I guess what I learned from her, and honestly from all my mentors, is that they're not only really good at what they do and very knowledgeable, they are accessible and they are open and honest to your questions. And they actually have a true interest in you succeeding. So I would say she was very important to me when I did my fellowship. Then when I moved back to Argentina, Guillermo Chantata, he was my mentor. He's my mentor for my PhD, and he's been extremely helpful. And he combines all these good things that I just said. He's extremely approachable, very honest person. That you can, at least I feel that he wants me to succeed, and every time there's an opportunity that he thinks it might be helpful to me, he will offer it to me, or I feel perfectly comfortable texting or emailing him, asking for questions or for advice. Then I'm now working a lot with Scott Howard, who is also, so I would say, a very good mentor and give me a lot of advice. But those are like, when you think about mentors, like in big names and people with a lot of experience. But I would say day to day, my mentors most of the time are my peers. So people that they work with me. The people that I work with in the hospital, they're great mentors. And they might not have big names, but they might help me figure it out, like all these things that I don't really know how to start this project or how to write this objective or how to think a solution to this problem. And I think having a mentor is very important, but I don't think we should ignore or I think we should start talking about peer mentorship, which means your peers, people that they are at your level or below your level or like close to you, even the pharmacists or the nurses, those are peers that they mentor you, even in an indirect way. And those are very important as well. It's not formalized, right? You cannot say this is my mentor, but I think we should start like putting them, like, setting them at the table as very important actors to help anyone build their own career.
So this is the first time I'm hearing an opinion like this, like yeah,
controversial.
So but I really liked the idea, like because most of the day you are spending with your peers, and sometimes like you're just asking their opinion. You're asking how would they in this situation, and it's really helpful. So I really like that idea, and I think we can like develop something, and yeah, it would be really nice.
Yeah, and peers, they're more approachable, right? You might not feel intimidated to ask your coworker or your friend about something, and they might not feel intimidated to give you an honest opinion. Like, no, this is not going to work. Why are you thinking of doing? Like you need that level of honesty from the beginning when you want to start something. Someone who's not afraid of telling you what you may not like.
Yes, being approachable is most important thing about mentoring. So if your mentor is not approachable, it's very difficult for you, and like sometimes you can get disappointed, and that
Yeah.
will. Well,
And there are like some power dynamics that they play a role when there's a formal mentor and the mentee that not always exist when it's a peer mentorship, if we want to call it that way, because it feels more, how can I say it, more spontaneous or and easy, more approachable. I guess that's the word I was trying to find.
Gabriela, do you mentor young colleagues like students or I don't know
Not
residents?
not formally, but I guess I mentor a lot of people that work with me, and they mentor me. So because we share projects, I believe the best way of working is with a team, and I believe the best way to make that team work is if everyone is a team player. So you're not always going to shine. You're not going to be the first author in everything, and that's fine. You can just help someone out to produce something, a manuscript, or like to start a new project or research idea or whatever, and you can just be a small part of someone else's project. And in that sense, you are providing advice and your expertise. So it's some form of mentorship, I guess, there. Um, and you're building up a team of people that would also then do that for you. Um, and I think that having that as kind of like a community that brings you up, it's extremely important. So I'm kind of like, I know the traditional way of thinking about this is that you have someone way above you that has all the knowledge, and that pours down to the rest of us, and we try to learn something and build up, and then we will raise or we will grow from that. And I think it happens in that way in a lot of ways, but I don't think that's the only way to happen. I think like horizontally, there is way more going on than what is like, that the knowledge or the resources or the things that you're getting from someone that is way above your level, if that makes sense to say. Um, so I don't formally mentor anyone, but I participate and I help with a lot of projects, and I guess that is my way to contribute with others. And honestly, most of them, they contribute with the things I want to do. And it's a great feedback. Like we get a great feedback from each other.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good cooperation between you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I guess it's true for any job and in
Yeah.
life in general, right? You need a community that cheers you up, like that celebrates your success, and that is there for when you did something totally wrong, or is there to tell you this is not a good idea. We all need a community that help us to be better. And that comes in different shape and forms, and it has different players. And I guess part of the challenge is to get that community, because it cannot be just one mentor that is
Yes.
helping one person go up. That I don't think that it's real, or that is not a real expectation. I think you need more people,
Yeah,
and
that's
we all
in
have to push up.
humans' nature. Like people have to
Mhm.
feel involved. So in society or environment, if not, like it's gonna lead to bad problems. Gabriela, you're a researcher, clinician, and the mother of a 5-year-old. How do you approach balance between professional and personal life?
I don't think I balance things that well. I do my best day by day. I just have my daughter here, like pictures of me work while I was working before this interview. I guess, again, you need a community to help you raise a child, to help you find a career. I'm very lucky that my partner is very supportive and he's very involved with our daughter's care, which I think that is key. I don't have family living close to me in a sense that I cannot knock on my mom's door and ask her to take care of my daughter if I need time. So I have to organize my life in a way that I can have time to work. And I try the best I can that when I'm with my daughter, I am not working and I'm with her. That means that I often wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning to try to get things done before she goes to school. So I will have time to go to the hospital and have time to write emails or whatever I need to do. And then at 4:30 when she leaves school, I have that time that is protected for me to be with her. And it's our time together. It doesn't always work. Just to be totally honest, there are days that I feel that I do better than others. And there are days that I think I just do very poorly. But I don't know. I don't know if there is a such thing as balance. Maybe someone got there. Um, but I do believe that the fact that we're now talking about having a work-life balance is really important. I don't think like 30, 20, 40 years ago, there was a thing that was brought up into conversation for many professions. So first, it's important to acknowledge that. Second, I think it's very important that that question is asked to women and men, especially because historically men have more opportunities to have more time dedicated to their work than women. So it's very fair to acknowledge that women might not have had the same chances to have all the time they wanted. And still today, that is not always well accepted by everyone. Like,
Yeah.
it's culturally is different in every place. And we have also to take that into consideration. But at least in Latin America, my culture, it's always expected to mothers to be the primary caregivers of the children. And I will argue that is not 100% fair because women, mothers, we also work. We also have our own ambitions and things that we want to achieve. It's not that the only thing that defines us as person is that we are mothers. We might want something else. And I think it's right for any woman to try to achieve those goals. As for any man or any bi-gender person, like it should be regardless of the gender or their identity. Though that is, I guess, a fight that will still in the process. But so I don't know. I guess you will get a different answer from every mother or father you ask. It will be good to ask these questions to fathers, not just to mothers.
I'm asking
All these things for two.
in the podcast. I also have like guests who are dads, and I'm asking the question.
Part of the question, right?
Yeah.
They should also be in charge of the children.
Yes.
Or cooking or cleaning the house or whatever it takes,
Yes, for sure.
All those things.
Like having a good partner is the key in success and time management and balancing your life.
Yeah, a good partner, or at least some network of people that can help you. So my partner helps me a lot, but also I have friends, and my sister lives in the city where I live, so I can ask her for help. I have a wonderful babysitter that I know I can call her and ask for help if I need to. So whatever is available to you, whatever you can afford, right? Because childcare could be very expensive. I wouldn't say it's easier, but I guess the best answer I can give about that is whatever you are doing, even if you're working, just work. And if you're with your children or with your family, be there. I think it gets very tricky when you try to combine those things at the same time. So something that I do that a friend taught me is that when I get home with my daughter from school, I put my phone in airplane mode. So for those 2 hours where we have a snack and we play or whatever, and I try to do laundry and all the stuff, it's a time that I'm there in my house as a mother, as a person like taking care of my family, and I'm not distracted with work stuff. So I don't know. It's been working so far. Let's see for how long I can keep it.
Yeah, it's really important to give the time to your children because I have lots of friends whose parents or one of them is doctor, and like they're mentioning they didn't I don't know, they didn't have the time, that quality time with their parents that much because of their specialty. So they are in the hospital working, having contributes, and it's also can like affect the children. So it's really important to have quality time with children.
Don't know is something that you can achieve every day. Also, that it might be like some days will be good days, and some days are going to be a mess, and you start over the next day. Just reset and start over.
Okay. So, Gabriela, could you tell us about your work at Hospital Garrahan? What's your day-to-day like caring for children with cancer in a major public hospital, if I'm not mistaken? That serves not just Argentina, but the whole region. Not whole, but the region.
Right. Yeah. So I don't work for Hospital Garrahan anymore, but I do get patients from them. But
Yes.
to the system, well, it's okay. I love Hospital Garrahan. It's a wonderful institution in Argentina and also a wonderful institution for Latin America. And I enjoy very much my time there, and I learned a lot. Right now, I'm working in a different hospital because my main area of interest is with adolescents and young adults.
Mm.
And that is an issue. It's a complicated issue for a lot of reasons. I think it's a problem that we share in a lot of countries in the world, that our medical system makes selects which patients can be seen in a pediatric hospital and what is the age cut when the patient has to be seen in an adult hospital. So in most hospitals in Latin America, that age cut is between 14 and 15 years of age, which means if you're 16 or 17 with an osteosarcoma, most likely you will be seen by an adult oncologist that might not have the best expertise in that type of tumor. In the same way, I, as a pediatric oncologist, don't have any expertise in treating breast cancer or colon cancer or carcinomas in general, right? We are trained to deal with different types of diseases. And also part of the problematic with adolescents and young adults is that even more for those that they start their treatment in a pediatric hospital and then they have to transition to an adult facility, is that the type of care, like the relationship with doctors and nurses and the culture in pediatrics is way different than the cultures in adults. Doesn't mean that we're good and they're bad. I'm not saying that at all. But the culture is different. The volume of patients is way different. So it's an adjustment that sometimes is really hard to make for the patient and for the family. So having an AYA or working in an AYA department is kind of like, you would think, the ideal solution. So you actually see patients that they're coming from the pediatric world and like helping them to go or start their path into the adult world. Though that is not completely established in Argentina or in Latin America in general. So it's something that me and a lot of people working on trying to achieve. So it's a huge challenge. I love challenges. I love when things are a little bit difficult. So I have to think harder. And I think it's worth it. And, teenagers and young adults are often that kind of patient that no one really wants to treat. Mm-hmm. Like pediatricians, they think they're too complicated. Adults, they think they're too complicated. Like they don't have time to deal with them not wanting to get treatment anymore or stuff like that. So I think you need a team, a multidisciplinary team with a skill set that will contain them and their needs, because they're in this special time in their life where they're finally trying to achieve some independence. And then they are like, their lives collapsed because of a cancer diagnosis. Anyway, that is where my main area of research is going, and my clinical interest is actually on. I also work in a lot of like regional projects or international projects for neuroblastoma and like basically access to care kind of project, which I also love a lot. I guess working with people from different countries and different health systems is extremely eye opener. Like just like it's like, oh my God, is that how it's done there? And how and then you start to realize, okay, we're not that bad in that sense, but we're doing terribly in terms of how to manage other stuff. There's no information or no information shared between countries with lower resources, right? So we don't know how things are done. You might not know how things are done in Argentina. And I don't know how things are done in your country. And I have no idea how things are done in Tanzania. But once you start like working with people that they work in other countries and you see, okay, we have the same problem. We are doing very poorly managing that problem, but you figured it out this way to make your patient get to clinic on time and to have access to these medications. So that is also a big part of what I'm doing lately. And that is very inspiring, I would say. I truly enjoy it. I don't know how much of help I will be able to provide, but I think at least some, or yeah, at least some. We'll see how it goes.
That's great. I hope like your projects will succeed. And I want to say something regarding the information sharing. I guess it's really important, like to share the information, because sometimes you don't have any clue how to do that, but someone like just figure it out. And if they share the information with you, you're going to know, and you can also have a solution for something else they don't have. So you also share that information. And I guess like in science, we reached this point because we share information. Like we are getting information from I don't know, past scientists, past doctors, and that's why we are here. Like sharing knowledge is important, and I think it's universal. It's even in genetics, like it's in our genes to share information. So I think that's the best way to like grow to I don't know, to achieve something.
Yeah, no, I agree. And there's no point in double doing things. Like, why would we repeat the same work? Just if you have that, uh, why not share it with me so I can incorporate that in my practice? It brings another problem that I guess is true for a big part of the world, that we don't publish what we do or how we do things. So, because it seems that you have to only publish things that is a randomized double-blind clinical trial, right? You cannot just, and in a way, we don't really know how others in similar situations are dealing with similar problems. So publishing or trying to write a manuscript or like a paper, an abstract, I think, or like all the work you're doing in OncoDaily with like webinars and interviews and all these things, it's a great way to spread the word, right? How things are being done in other places that might be more like mine, and it doesn't, and I might even replicate that or get a good idea or a better start if I'm trying to figure it out a problem. It's a great question. I was thinking about that. I don't have a hobby. Some people, they do have like they paint or they exercise. I hate exercising. I but I'm trying to rethink a little bit, what can I do with the very limited free time that I have? And also because I'm 40 years old, so I don't think I'm old, but I can feel that my body started to change. So how do I use the free time that I have to actually feel better myself? So I started exercising, which I hate, but a friend of mine, she is a personal trainer, and I asked her if she could come to my house, force me to do it. So I've been doing that, and I must confess that is helping me a lot. Not just because exercising is good, it's been helping me to be more productive with my work significantly, to sleep better, to use the energy and anger that sometimes the frustrations that you have inside you. You know what? I just like pour that, all that energy when I'm exercising and not in a meeting or not like by myself, like at home, like, clutching my fist in anger, with anger. But so I started doing that, and I think it's very helpful. I love traveling. That if I could do something in my life, I would travel and go to places where I can hike, and that. But that's not always an option. But if I can, whenever I can, I just love going to places that I haven't met, or go to a new restaurant that they just open and like check the menu and see, okay, what is new here that I've never tried? I want that. So those little things bring me pleasure and a sense of like having a life besides working and having a family. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe when I retired, I might do more artistic things that I always wanted to do as a kid. But right now, it's really hard to find time, to be totally fair. To be honest. So I I do what I can. But I guess I would say exercising, which I truly hate, uh, has a lot of benefit in terms of even your productivity. I will argue, not just like it's good for your body. I think it's been good for my mind.
Yeah, sure.
And one more thing that I do that might not be useful for everyone, but it was very useful for me, and is I bike to work.
That's
So I
great.
ride my bike to go to work, and that also helped a lot.
Yeah, that's
I don't
also
know if
exercise.
that counts as a hobby, but it helped me.
It's not a kind of hobby, but like it's
No,
exercise.
right? But it's just a good, I don't know.
You're physically active. So it's so important to have things that fill you up outside of work. So yeah, keep
It is.
doing it.
Do you have a hobby? Do you do
Uh,
something fun? Give me
yeah,
some ideas.
yeah. Mm, one of my biggest hobby is like reading and collecting books.
Oh, fun.
And now in medical school, I don't have the time to read because mostly I'm reading articles or I don't know, my textbooks. So, but when I have a little time, I'm grabbing a book and trying to like read it.
I should do that. Start reading a book again. I will take your advice. Instead of scrolling down the screen or watching bad TV or a bad series at night, I might just read a book. I take
Series,
note of that.
series are also great. Series are also great. I love
Yeah.
series. And again, I have time. I'm like, I don't know, watching series, one episode in a week.
And then 10 in a day.
Yeah. Gabriela, what advice would you offer young doctors or medical students, especially those interested in international training or balancing research, clinical work, and family?
Oh, what advice. Um, I guess this what was useful for me was to find my community of people that would help me. Because it's really hard to do research. It's hard to be a pediatric oncologist. It's sometimes a really sad profession, sometimes happy, but it comes with a lot of personal load. Like it takes a lot from you. But finding a good community of people that you like working with, I would argue is even more important than working in a place with a big name.
Yeah, sure.
Because you can find collaboration with other people from other countries and have big and beautiful projects that you can work or help with. And just while you're at home, in your institution, on your house, just have a community of people that will cheer you up, that will be there for you. I would say, at least for me, that is important. I need family and friends around me all the time, or to feel that way at least. And I think like right now, there are so many opportunities to network and be connected to people that they have similar interests, that you should take advantage. I think most people are, they might get surprised because sometimes you can send an email to someone that you think, oh, this person never is going to get back to me. And they might, So just don't overthink. If you want to do something and you found that person in another country or whatever that you read paper and it was great, just send them an email. There's no problem with trying. And I don't know. I would say opportunities, at least for me, opportunities never came to my door. It's not that someone, you have to do your part and work hard and ask for them. So there's
Yes.
nothing wrong in asking for what you are saying out loud. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm interested in. I can see my 5-year goal is to be able to do this, and just say it out loud, because someone is going to listen and they might connect you to someone else. So don't be shy in that sense. it doesn't mean that you have to figure out everything before you present the project or you have an idea. Like, just be more spontaneous. That would be my advice. I don't know if it's worth it, but
It's really great advice. You should have like surround you with good people. And just a random fact: do you know that you can connect to everybody in the planet, like with 6 people? So you can connect yourself with 6 people to Donald Trump, or I don't know,
I
to
would
some.
prefer not to.
I don't
What
know,
do you mean?
like maybe your husband knows someone, and that someone
Uh-huh.
knows. So with these 6 people, you can reach to whoever you want. Like,
Ah,
yeah.
so let's say that I want, like, for someone to say, I want to be an astronaut. And then you say that to your friend. And your friend knows a friend who knows a friend who knows a friend who is an astronaut. And then you have that connection. All right. That goes to my point, right? If you want something, say it. Because people cannot read your mind. You have to say it and ask for it.
What is next for you? Any dreams or goals you're excited about professionally or personally?
I guess I'm very happy the way things are going for me right now. I would like to be able to publish more. That is quite a big task for me, and it takes a lot of my time to write things. So it would be great if I could find the time and energy and pacing my brain to write more and to take advantage of the opportunities that I'm having. Because sometimes I feel personally that it takes a lot of my time and effort to build up like program, like help be part of programs or projects and things like that. And we can accomplish a lot, but we never write that, or I don't. So that is a thing that I should get better at. And I hope in the next few years I can do that. And then for my career as a general, I guess I would like to be able to see that AYA care, at least in Latin America, is more of a reality. And that is something that could be achieved or at least introduced within the medical system in most countries in my region. But, that takes time and effort. It's just working.
Yeah, that's great. You just need to ask.
Yeah, I just need to ask. Exactly. That is the key point of this conversation. You want something, go for it.
Sure. Gabriela, thank you so much for sharing
No,
your
thank
story
you.
from Argentina to the US and back, and from research to family. And to everyone watching and listening, thanks for joining us for another episode of On Coffee. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep the coffee brewing. Bye bye.